Hello friends and welcome back. Today let's play around with a little Johnny B. Goode, some Chuck Berry classic riffs, and throw it all together and see what we can come up with an acoustic guitar performance. Now of course Chuck Berry made this famous on the electric guitar, and electric guitar, lighter strings, can do a lot more with bending and things like this. When we bring it to an acoustic guitar with a set of 12s on it, we have to make a few alterations, but we can still come up with a nice performance. Most people will play this in the key of B flat because that is the original key, and of course they're going to play that classic power chord with the root and the fifth, the two fingers, and the thumb across the two strings, or if you're using a pick, okay, and we're playing like this, and of course the power chord like this. And the power chord form, of course, this is a 12-bar blues basically, so we're going to be playing the 1, the 4, the 5, and then the 1, right? So we've got the B flat for the 1, we've got the E flat chord for the 4, we've got the F for the 5, and then back to the B flat. So we've got that classic L-shape form which is used across lots of 12-bar blues. You know, once you learn the riff, and you play it here, you play it here, you play it here, and you come back. So now we're going to introduce and add in that fourth finger, or some people can play it with the third finger, but fourth finger, which is going to come in here and play the sixth, right? So we can go like this. We can go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 2 and 3 and 4, and then we can bring it down to the E flat, and then come back to the B flat, right? And then we can go up to the F, to the E flat, and then back to the B flat, right? Now if you can really make a good stretch, you can even go the 6th to the minor 7th, or the dominant 7th, and you could do something like that. And I have to say, back in the day I could do that quite easily after 5 hand operations. It's a little bit tough for me. So what I like to do when I play these Johnny B. Goode type songs is, having a long gig, playing 3 or 4 hours, you're always looking for some shortcuts. So instead of playing in B flat, I like to just bring it down to the key of A, right? Half step, not going to be a big difference in the singing. And what we can now do is, instead of killing ourselves up here, especially us old men, right, we can just play this all open, right? So now we come down here on the open A string, we can use our first finger on the E, and we can play like that, and we can go like that. Now one thing, on the acoustic guitar, that's going to actually sound a little better because it's not so muffled up with closed fingers, right? So you've got some open strings that are really buzzing here, and you can make a really nice sound there, right? Now this gets even better, my friends, because now when we go to the D, what we have to do is drop down 1, and we're doing the same exact thing with one finger. Some people just play it like that with one finger, right? But we can go like this with the 1 and 3. And now if we want to add in that dominant 7th, it becomes no problem at all, right? Because we've got one finger per fret, which most people can do that reach. Now we got the A, we got the D, and now we're going to come up and do the E on the top 2 strings, or the bottom 2 strings, which gives you a nice powerful sound, right, for the E, and then we're back to the A, okay? So going through the 12-bar blues, or at least this configuration of it, if you will, in Johnny B. Goode, right? We've got, starting on the A for 4 measures, deep down in Louisiana, close to New Orleans, way back up in the woods among the evergreens. Okay, first 4. Go into the next phrase, which is going to bring us to the 4 chord, or the D. There stood a log cabin made of earth and wood. Back to the A, where lived a country boy named Johnny B. Goode. Now we're going to go to the E, who never ever learned to read or write very well, but he could play his old guitar just like ringing a bell. So in the last phrase, we've got the E, the 5, and then the 1. A little different than the standard 12-bar blues, which would go 5, 4, 1. right? But even easier, right? So that's basically what we're doing, and that's the whole song. Now you can play so many rock and roll songs from the 50s, even the 40s, if you're going back to the R&B days, which is gold, my friends. If you don't know about the R&B records of the first half of the 20th century, the first half of the 20th century, that is the gold that made rock and roll what it was to become. And those records, of course, didn't get played a lot, but that really is where the blood and guts of rock and roll came from, the R&B records of the early 20th century. Funny that it took the British invasion in the 60s and all those young white guys to come over to our country to explain to us what we had not been paying attention to. Okay, so the R&B gold of the early 20th century, if you get nothing else from this video, check all of those records out, because that's where it all comes from. So we've got here a nice 12-bar blues, and we're playing it in a very comfortable and very nice sounding, okay? And so you can play so many songs like this, because this is the iconic riff or the iconic rhythm that Chuck Berry made famous, and so many others after him. 60s, 70s, so many bands. If you listen closely, you're going to hear somebody in the rhythm section doing something like that. And with acoustic guitar, playing the open strings like that is just beautiful. So we can play this tune through chorus and verse, played the same way, right? So we're going to go like this. Deep down in Louisiana, close to New Orleans, way back up in the woods among the evergreens, there stood a log cabin made of earth and wood, where lived a country boy named Johnny B. Goode, who never ever learned to read or write so well, but he could play this old guitar just like ringing a bell. And now into the chorus, go, go, same thing, right? Go, Johnny, go, 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 Johnny, go, go. And if you want to throw in that dominant seventh there, little finger, make it sound a little more pretty, that works. Go, 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 Johnny, go, I said go, Johnny be good. Okay, so there you go. Now, a couple of variations on top of even that. Now that we've got this open and we've freed up our hand quite a bit, you could do things like this. Instead of just going straight, okay, you could do something like this. Play that first one, and then play the second and third finger on the string right above where you're playing that first finger. Okay, and now you've got a little variation on that tune. So if you're getting tired of doing this, you could do something like this, right? Where he used to carry his gun in a gunny side, goes between the trees, and you get the idea, right? So you can vary this up a little bit instead of just playing the straight all like this. And this is a great way to play this tune, roll over Beethoven. You can play some Beach Boys tunes with this thing, right? This is just a great riff to know and to learn. And you can play it open on the acoustic, or you can do it up here if you want. Or you can do a mixture of the two, right? You can play the A here, and now if you're really dying to stretch out those fingers, you can come up here and play the D up here, right? And then come back. So a lot of variations there, which takes us to how are we going to introduce this song. Well, of course, there's an iconic solo, and you can find note by note this solo on about 4,000 YouTube sites. So what I'm going to do here is just take bits and pieces and show you how it all fits together, and show you how you can kind of customize and come up with your own little introduction, right? We could try to stay true to the original by doing something like this. And when we play this iconic riff, I like to call it building the house, because basically if you look and see what we're doing, again, the original is up here on the 6th fret, right, because we're in B flat, but because we're playing an A, I'm moving everything down to the 5th fret, okay? So we're going to the 6th fret to build the top or the point of the roof, if you will, okay, with the second finger, and then we're going to put the first finger, then the third finger, and then the first finger. So what you see is you've got here is like a little house, okay? And just getting that under your fingers is a nice way to start this off. Okay, now some people will come into this with a hammer on, and some people will come into it with a slide. Okay, I think I kind of like the slide. So we're going to slide into that 6th fret on the 3rd string, and then we're going to play 5, 7, and then we're going to do a double stop with the first finger playing across the 5th fret on the first 2 strings, okay? And with this, a lot of people will slide in like that, okay? It's a little humid today, so this is tough to do. Okay, so that's your first step, and it's all 8th notes, right? So it's going to be... So now what we're going to do is add in that second step, which is basically a blues scale, okay? And this is the standard A blues scale, okay? So we've got 4-1, 4-1, 3-1, okay? And a lot of this solo comes right out of this form, okay? It's called the minor blues scale, or somebody just call it the blues scale. It's 1, 4, 1, 3, 1, 3, 1, 3, 1, 4, 1, 4. Okay, that's the base 5-note blues scale. So we've got this. We're coming into this. And you'll notice that by doing that, that's giving us that F chord, right? But really A chord up here on the 5th fret. So really what we're doing is we're breaking down into an F chord. Okay? So I always like to look for the chords when I'm doing a solo, because the chords are the foundation points of the solo. And by doing that, it'll help remind you to come backwards here on this note. Okay, so it's da 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 da. Now when we do that, we break down into that A chord form, if you will. Now we're playing the thumb and the first finger on the 3 and the 4. And we're doing a double stop here, okay, on that 6th and 7th fret. So we got this. So we're adding in the 6th, and then we're wrapping it around again. So we've got that building a house, and then we've got a little blues scale. And now double stop down here. Da 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 da. And now we're going to do the famous bend. And you notice it doesn't come off too well on an acoustic guitar with 12s on it. Pretty heavy strings. So in order to take that 3rd string in the 7th fret and bend it to get a whole step bend, kind of tough to do. But if you watch the Chuck Berry videos, or most people that show you how to do this, you'll see that they're bending this right up a full step. Okay? You almost get it, but it doesn't have quite the same effect as it does in electric. So what we can do instead is we can do a slide. Okay, so we're going to slide up to the 9th fret. Of course, remember, we're shifting down a half step. So typically this would be the 10th fret if you were in the key of B flat. But because we're in A, we're going to the 9th fret, okay, and we're sliding up to like that. So instead of getting that da da da, 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 which we can't really reach. We're doing it with a slide. And this takes a little getting used to, but if you keep focused on the point where you've got to stop right on that 9th fret. Okay, so we're going on the 3rd string, the 9th fret, and then we're going to the 2nd string with the 1st finger. Now, another thing you could do here is kind of double stop it. So use the 1st finger across the first 2 strings. That sounds pretty good too. The other thing you could do, because you've got open strings, is you could add in some bass. So you could go. So you can add in the D bass and then put in the A bass. So you've got, because remember there's no rhythm section, it's just you, right? So you've got. And then we're going to end it up with. Okay, just a blues scale there, right? And you can do that however you want. You don't have to do it exactly step, note by Chuck Berry, right? I actually think it's better to learn the pieces, and then when you're on the spot, you don't have to remember what was that note, what was that note. You just remember this is just a blues scale. Okay, and you can innovate that, and you can do it different ways. Right? You could do every other finger like this. You could come down, add in the blues notes. Right? Leaves you open for a little bit of creativity, and there's lots of different things you can do there. So basically we're going to end it up with and now a double stop with the 2 and the 3 on the 7th fret. So we've got 3rd finger and we've got 1st and 2nd finger. Okay, with the bass note or open bass note. So the whole thing together slowly, okay? So we're going to go. Now the slide. And then we're into the song. Okay, so that's basically how I would approach it. You can take pieces of that. You could do a shorter version of that with a bunch of double stops. Again, we're playing 1st and 2nd strings, right? And just coming all the way down with double stops. Okay? 1st, 3rd, 2nd and 3rd finger, 2nd and 3rd finger, 1st and 2nd finger, 1st and 2nd finger, thumb and 1st finger, and thumb and 1st finger. So we got this. And then we're into it, right? Into the D and then to the A. Little introduction and then the E. Okay? So throwing all these things together, coming up with that. I mean, you're on the spot, you're at a gig, you're not really going to be worried about, boy, I haven't played that in a while. What was that exact note in that riff so I could do this exactly the way it needs to be done? People play this song all the time. They do their own variations on it. It's perfectly fine, perfectly good. As long as you're getting this in there, everybody knows what you're doing, right? So, my friends, I hope that gives you some ideas, some things you can try, some things you can play with. Again, this is an iconic tune. The riffs here can be used in so many tunes, so I hope that helps you out. I hope that gives you something to play with. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel, my friends. I will see you again next time. keep on playing that guitar.